this is Kelly and welcome to another exciting podcast. Today we are in a beautiful villa. I should even tell you where we are. First of all, we're just outside of Tulum in a beautiful villa with a beautiful Farr. Stephanie has been so gracious to join us today. She's going to tell us about property management and about other kinds of activities related to real estate, some of the initiatives that she's started and begun here in the Riviera Maya. She's got a lot of information to share with us. She's got a beautiful case to present to us about why we need to buy here, why we need to invest here. We're just going to talk very, very casually, but first of all, I want to thank you. Thank you for coming here because you're special. This is a very, very special lady. So first of all, Steph and I also share something in common. I lived the last 20 years in Canada, and Steph's going to tell us about how she arrived here in Mexico. How did you get here? Tell us about Steph.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you for the intro. Hi, everyone. My name is Steph Farr, and I've been living in Mexico for 14 years. Yes, originally from Montreal, Canada. So went from complete snowbird, living in the freezing cold weather, to moving to the tropical paradise where if it drops below 16 degrees Celsius, it's too cold for me.
You not put a sweater on when it's in the 60s, right? Oh, it's too much.
So I don't even know how I endured the winters in Montreal, but here we are. So how did I end up here? I used to work for a company called Luxury Retreats in Montreal, the largest villa rental company in the world, that actually got bought out by Airbnb in 2017. And so I started, my role was pretty much in the beginning with the company. We were only 7 employees at the time. And my role was actually to, and keep in mind this is in around 2003, 2004, where the rental industry, the villa rental industry, was still very much in its infancy stage. So it was very rare to onboard a property or convince a homeowner to rent their home. And so I started just cold calling owners in different areas. We started off mainly in the Caribbean. And my role was to sign on villa owners and consult for them on how to develop a successful rental program. And at this time, in 2003, 2004, calling up homeowners, it was really trying to convince them to rent out their house and how to generate some income and pay off some expenses I would incur throughout the year. Because evidently it's a second home. They wouldn't be living in their house full time. Mainly we started in Barbados. That was our first destination.
Right.
So, and mostly Canadians own these homes in Barbados, and so convincing these Canadians how to rent out your house. It's the wear and tear on the beach, expenses are going to incur. It's in your best interest to rent out your property. And at the time, funny enough, just to be able to approve a property, they didn't have a website. We didn't have, they literally would.
This is so hard to imagine, guys, because we're in a lot of years, and it's 15 years ago, right?
Yeah, this is just 15 years ago, where they would physically mail in photos of their property, and we'd going through these pictures, and then they would, or they could be a little bit more advanced, technically advanced, and would mail in a CD. I basically worked with this company for about 5 years, and really then they started to transfer me to different destinations to develop the region. And Riviera Maya was the first destination that I came to develop. And when I say develop, it's to find properties where the owners will rent out their villas or consult for hotels that are building villas within their hotel development. How to build a villa where it would be more preferable to cater to a rental client rather than just for a private owner that's just going to use their house.
Right.
Very different.
Right.
So I consulted on that end. I lived here for a few months, and then...
Now, when you were here, sorry to interrupt,
Sure.
but when you came here, I guess cold calling in Canada was a different thing because you just knew who the renters, the owners were of those properties, and you contacted them to talk to them about it. Here, you needed to come to find out what the property were like, what the market was like, or was it here to come to also to find out who the owners were? Because I guess this information wasn't as easily available for this market as it would be as it was in Barbados. Right?
Yeah, and actually yes, and even comparing Riviera Maya to Cabo San Lucas, because I was transferred to Cabo to develop Cabo. And Cabo, I mean, you get the information for the HOA, in Pedregal, and all of a sudden you have 200 homeowners' contact information, email and phone number, and you're just calling them up.
Different world altogether.
Whereas here, I mean, we're right now in Solomon Bay, and this house is La Semilla. This bay had maybe about 3 homes. And right now we have over about 30 homes in the bay. And so it really was finding these gems, finding them on the beach, convincing a homeowner why they should rent their house. And really, not only, as you said, Kelly, just looking, it's the overall market. What did Riviera Maya have to offer at the time? You know, Cozumel and Cancun were the two destinations that actually were a little bit more advanced in terms of tourism. Remember, Playa del Carmen only developed as a tourist destination because it was a fisherman's village, but developed in its own destination because the cruise ships, the passengers from the cruise ships would do a day tour to come to Playa del Carmen and visit this area.
They would stop in Cozumel.
So the cruise ships docked in Cozumel, and they would do a day trip and bring passengers to Playa del Carmen.
My gosh, guys! Imagine this, because Playa del Carmen is a city now. So Playa del Carmen was basically a day trip for cruise ship passengers.
Yes.
And if you've seen, I took an urbanization course last year, and if you've seen videos or you've seen aerial shots of Playa del Carmen 25 years ago, there's one avenue, the Benito Juarez, which is still, it's like one of the main avenues, and then there were a few palapas and a few little hotels on the side, and now you see Playa del Carmen as a city. It's
urbanized.
A full-blown city, right?
Yes.
So it's a really amazing process, and this happened really, really fast. So you've experienced this growth firsthand, and you've been part of it, right?
Yes.
That's amazing. So, all right, so I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just had to.
Yeah, no, it's fascinating.
That was a destination. That was a day trip.
It was just a day trip. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then. You were here for how many months?
So I was just here for a few months, and then I was, then with the same company, I was transferred to Napa, Sonoma to develop the vineyard.
Oh, and Steph suffers a lot. Are you hearing these horrible destinations? Riviera Maya, Cabo San Lucas, Barbados, Napa. Where else have you suffered, Steph?
Well, so in my mind, I endured 5 years of building this, this department within the company, which is focusing on working with homeowners direct, and I just decided I've had enough of this luxury, so I'm going to quit my job, and I quit Luxury Retreats, and I just backpacked around the world, and so I just basically did a 180 of visiting these luxury homes to just putting a backpack, traveling to China, Japan, India, Australia, New Zealand, Thailand. So we just spent almost about a year exploring, traveling. Now, a little rewind back when I spent a few months here at the time with the other company, my brother came to visit me, fell in love with it, packed up his truck, he was living in Texas at the time, drove down and just moved here. And he just fell in love with the destination and was like, this is it for me. And when I finished my travels, I came back here to visit him. And while I was visiting him, I met up with one of my former clients who was a villa owner. And she said, Steph, now that you're not doing anything, I was in debt from all my travels. I never really anticipated getting back into the industry. But she said, hey, why don't we start a concierge company? So not go back into the villa rental space where we're renting and managing properties, but let's create a standard. And that was something back in the day with the villa rental industry, is many people are reluctant to rent a house as opposed to a brand, a hotel. Like, I know what I'm getting when I book at Four Seasons. I know what I'm getting if I book at Fairmont, Rosewood. Whereas with the villas, it's the wild, wild west. You are subject to what the homeowner considers luxury. So we just said, let's create a company where we could create a concierge service and a standard for companies like Luxury Retreats, which is a luxury villa wholesaler. So we could provide that 180-degree solution for them, so they don't hesitate. If a client one of their clients has a request for a villa that's $10,000 a night in St. Bart's, and yet we have another villa here in Riviera Maya that's $10,000 a night, that there's no discrepancy between the quality of the houses, and there's more standard for their brand. So we're kind of trying to integrate and create this brand for them, a luxury service for them on site.
So we're talking about 2008, 2009. That's a very interesting time. World markets are crashing.
Yes.
And how did that affect what you were doing?
So world markets crashing, and again, yes, we had homeowners that we were just providing the service, a concierge service, and that was our motto, was just to help elevate the brand. And with the economic crisis, that was one of the hurdles. However, I don't know if you remember, but swine flu hit. Full circle.
Of course.
Full circle.
Of course. Here we are.
Swine flu hit. Mexico was affected where our airports pretty much almost shut down. All-inclusive resorts shut down. It was a ghost town. Playa del Carmen was a ghost town. So homeowners.
And how long was that?
I would say that lasted about 9 months.
Right.
And during that time, because homeowners knew back then that this is what I did, I consulted on how to build a successful rental program. So they approached me and basically asked, Steph, or Maya Lux, is the company name, can you help us fill our empty nights? We're economically struggling, and now with swine flu and our houses sitting empty, we really need to pivot and do something different. So that's how Maya Lux became a luxury builder rental company and not just a concierge service company. And so slowly but surely, homeowners would come approach us. I provided additional consulting on how to generate more volume, more occupancy, higher rentals for their properties, while providing that luxury service as well. So Maya Lux does luxury villa rentals, and we also do concierge services. From the moment a client books, we call our concierge, and we call them curators. We're here to curate and create one of the most incredible experiences that you'll ever have in Riviera Maya.
And you do that 24/7. Is that your concierge service?
Yes.
You have consultants, curators that are assisting your guests 24/7. So if I'm looking for a home here, right? I'm looking for an 8-bedroom home. Then I call you, and your team takes care of me. What do they do? They're going to start sending me the options. They're going to show me the things that are available for the days that I need, and then tell me what else you're going to provide.
So the most important thing is to profile our guests, profile our clients, because as you know, Riviera Maya is a vast, large destination, and it's destinations within a destination.
Right.
So we want to know: are you coming with your family? Are you coming with friends and you just want to party in Tulum, Cancun? Are you just coming for special occasions, an anniversary? Are we celebrating a birthday?
Children involved.
Children, grandparents. We don't want too many stairs. We also, we want all the rooms under one roof. So it's important, and I always say, we don't know what we don't know. So we can't expect our guests or our clients to know what they want if they've never been here or if they've never rented a house.
Right.
So it's really important to connect with our clients and to really understand. And I always say to our sales team, our reservations team, that every client that calls in, it's like your friend or your family, where they've never been, and you've been trying to convince them to come visit you for years. What type of itinerary would you create for them? And really take pride in hosting our guests, because it's not like our villas range from 3 bedrooms up to 15 bedrooms. And so it's not a regular occasion where you get a large group of people to come together. So let's say 15 people at once. These are really special occasions to be able to bring in, or to be able for a group to come in together, whether it's family or friends. It's not just like, we're catering to 2 people who booked a hotel room and they travel 3-4 times a year.
Completely different experience, because
Yes.
you're, as you said, you're involving not only your friends and your family, but you're creating lifetime memories. Sometimes people save for a year. This is something they may be saving money, and it's an investment in their time, their energy, and you got to create that experience. So I love this concept, because I think in my company for Luxury Homes Tulum, we also spend a lot of time profiling and understanding our clients, because if we don't understand our clients, we don't know what they need. Because that way, we provide you with the options that are right for you.
Exactly.
And we're not going to say this is the only house. We're going to say these are the ones that are best fitting your profile, your needs. The things you love, they're here. The things that you can't stand, they're not here. So
Exactly.
we have to do that, and the professionals, we have to listen more. Even though I love to talk. Stephanie will say, yeah, he's talking too much. But I love to talk, but I like to listen.
You do listen,
Understand.
yes.
We need to understand our clients. Stephanie's obviously created at Maya Lux, which is, as we said, we don't even know who's second best in this industry, because that's it, right? This is it. Stephanie is the standard. And her company and her team. I'm just going to tell you that my experience with her team has been unparalleled. And everything from people who are working in the villas up to the specific villa administrators and property managers that deal with them. I've done a little. I'm going to bust myself here, but I've done a little ghost work, and I've gone in as a potential client.
Oh.
Just to see what the response time has been like. And her team is responsive. They're so polite. I get these very, very incredibly succinct communications with them where they ask me direct questions about my potential stay, and I've had a great experience with them. So I'm going to tell you congratulations. No. But what that means that you've done a great job with your team. So I'm just complimenting your team. I know from every level. I'm talking laterally, horizontally.
Yes, thank you.
We have a great team. You've built a great team there.
Thank you.
So now I'm going to let you go back and tell us again. So what we're doing, we're offering concierge service from the beginning all the way through. So I said we're talking about food, chefs.
Pre-stocking, anything. So really, because the difference with staying at a hotel versus a villa is everything's a la carte. So we can make anything happen, anything. I mean, our motto is there is no no. I mean, some things, but well, some discrete things. But really, we want to always be able to say yes and provide for our guests. And so that's the difference with a hotel. I mean, you're subject to what they can offer in the premises of the property. Whereas with us, it's anything you want to come into the house, whether it's a chef, you want a butler, you want to do some mezcal tasting, you want to bring in masseuse,
pedicures,
anything from
what's
rolling cigars.
What's the craziest request you've ever had?
Is this off the record or on the record?
Let's get that smile. So we're going to get the on the record answer first, and then we're going to decide whether or not we can edit in the off the record one.
So
I put her on the spot.
Yeah, so
you don't have to answer if you don't want.
I mean, I could just say off the record. So I would say that was probably one of our most bizarre.
Well, what scares me is that Stephanie just said that's one of the most. You mean there are others like that?
Similar. I mean, yeah, we have to. And, you know, in this industry, anything goes. I have to say that's one thing I love about this industry is there's always something new every day. And right when you thought you saw it all,
you heard it all,
or you heard it all,
mm-hmm.
It's just nope. It's
no.
Okay.
I'm sure you get a lot of requests for excursions. You probably take
Yes.
care of all of that. I'm sure you take care of the transportation. I know you do.
From the moment a guest arrives. We take care of the transportation, whether it's a van, suburban, we'll cater based to the group size. And then on arrival, we have our host waiting for the guests to meet and greet. The staff's ready to meet and greet the guests, welcome the guests into the house. Usually we do dinner on arrival, so we don't want, the moment they step off the airplane, we do not want our guests to think of any type of logistic. It's just we're here to take care of you. We're there to receive you.
So it's like this. Follow me, right?
Yes.
So that's it.
Yes.
You welcome them, and then you
into the house. We don't want you to have to think about where you're going to go for dinner. You're hungry. You're not hungry. Food's on the table, and we take care of all the preferences, diet preferences. Of some are vegans, of some gluten-free.
And by the way, that used to be a very, very difficult request here in Mexico in general. Mm-hmm. But now we have vegan stores, like we have stores that celebrate vegan lifestyle.
Yes.
They're in Tulum, 27 minutes from here. We can find almost everything you can imagine to eat as far as dietary restrictions. We can handle it now.
Yes.
We really couldn't. Well, 20 years ago, that was like gluten-free, vegan. Like,
right.
What are you people thinking, right? Like,
and I have to say, I do have to say naturally, just everything here is almost naturally organic. Whereas, in the United States, you're buying organic, but it's just a label and it's not really organic. So here, it's like you don't even have to label as organic.
No.
If you buy a chicken, I love like the rotisserie chickens here, the pollo asados, and they're really like this big, the chicken.
Oh yeah.
Whereas in the US, you buy a chicken breast and it's this big.
Oh yeah. And you're like, I want to see that. I don't think I want to see that bird alone at night walking down the street. No.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about. And as Steph can share her experience, but yeah, fruit's a very interesting thing to buy here because growing up in the other part of North America, the northern part of North America, we know that our fruits and bananas and apples, that's a 2-week thing. Sit out on the counter, and it's like, oh, well, maybe I should start thinking about how I'm going to eat that or consume that. Here it's a matter of days. Right?
Yeah, you got to be real time.
It's a daytime thing. Like, you got to keep your eye on your avocados. They go from I'm not ready to like, you better eat me today.
Yeah,
like,
it's a short window.
It's a very short window, and that's good. I have friends that come and visit, and they're big fans of Mexico. They're like, I don't have to take my allergy medication when I come to Mexico. I eat better, I sleep better, and I think this is something, you guys, we can't put a price tag on it. This is our health, and obviously feeling good translates into so many more riches in our life.
Of course.
I'm gonna open the door and just let you, if something, tell us more about mine, tell us more, if there's anything else you want to tell us about my list. Oh, I'm just gonna tell you, so for Luxury Homes Tulum, so when you're working with us, by the way, I haven't even given you the commercial yet. So please, if you're enjoying this incredible podcast, please make sure that you subscribe to this YouTube channel and also follow me on Instagram. You're gonna find Steph's information for Maya Loops, as well as her information for her Instagram. You're gonna find all this information here. Please make sure that you follow her, because what we do is we partner with her. So come, anyone that's purchasing a property here, most of these property owners are gonna be wanting to rent. There's nobody that we're even recommending. We don't even talk to anyone else, because the best services come from her. So we have the best clients, we have the best properties, and she offers the best service. And as she just described, this service is unparalleled. So let's talk about how we're going to work together. We've already done that. What I want to know now is, tell me about some of your initiatives that you're working on. Tell me about something that's very near and dear to me, the in-house policies that you have regarding single-use plastics, for example. Let's talk a little bit about the environment. That's very, very involved in this. So tell us about how that works here.
Sure, thank you, and I appreciate Kelly bringing this up, because it's something I hold true to my heart. And just a little backtrack. So we started as a villa rental company offering concierge services, and then as we evolved into what's our why, and it became, we want to create magic for our guests and create memorable experiences. So then we kind of shifted and pivoted to be an experiential company, a luxury experiential company offering villas. And that was kind of my mission for a few years, and we're all about the experience, And then it really just, I woke up one day, I actually was in the Bahamas I'm part of a couple of business communities and entrepreneurial groups. And we're in the Bahamas, and we were actually out looking for sharks, tagging sharks, and really understanding what it means to protect the sharks in the waters, and how they're in danger, and how that will affect the entire ecosystem in the ocean. And so as I learned more about that, and I started to realize that there's a much bigger picture than just what we do in the area, in Riviera Maya, for example. So even though I was in the Bahamas, I'm understanding coming from a perspective of tourism, and they created, with regards to preserving the sharks and protecting sharks, they integrated it with their tourist programs in the Bahamas, and the government is focusing on how to get tourists involved in this.
By educating.
Yes, and educating, and donation programs, and experiences that involve swimming with sharks.
Right.
And so it's that full circle that, once you have that experience and you realize, wow, like, okay, this isn't like a Jaws movie and they're gonna, attack me. Like, apparently you have a higher chance of being killed by a vending machine to fall on you. This is an actual stat than a shark attacking you.
I believe it.
So,
Stephanie's a scuba diver, by the way. I've invited her to scuba dive with us in November, so.
Are we gonna see bull sharks too?
I hope so.
It's bull shark season.
Of course.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
There we go.
Yes. Our cameraman, are you gonna be scuba diving with us?
Yes, of course.
Oh, he says yes, even yes, and he doesn't
there we go.
swim. So we got a lot of work to do for the next couple of weeks to get you in the water. All right, sorry, I digress. All right, back to us. So this is great.
So this was
You
just
see
kind
the
of
big
what
picture. You
planted
see
the seed of like, holy, crap. Wow. Here I'm a company that is generating tourism. Maya Lux generates tourism in Riviera Maya, and looking at everything that's happening in the area with development, tearing down our jungles to build, building oceanside, density, not following density protocol. We are actually part of the problem. And so when you wake up and you have this passion of, wow, I'm going to deliver these incredible experiences, but then you realize I'm actually also at the same time deteriorating indirectly this region, which I hold so close to my heart. The culture here is incredible. People, the energy. I mean, if you think about it, this entire area is basically covered in a platform of limestone. And what's below the limestone? Flowing water. So our river system is right below us. Yeah. And just the flow of the water just translates into this incredible energy of we're just standing, we're just constantly in flow here. And it's has provided nothing but abundance for myself, my business, and at the same time, we're contributing to its demise. So it really became, well, now what is the why of my Lux? You know, it actually really hit me hard when I returned from this trip from Bahamas, and it hit me hard of why am I even doing what I do? You know, because at the end of the day, yes, we're creating memorable experiences, but there's something underlying that is not transparent. And we want to lead from a space of integrity and a space of, hey, if we're here to create an incredible experience, that also means that it's not just what happens here in the villa, it's happening all around us. And so how can we create an impact? Because no matter what, if we remove ourselves from this destination, from the industry, from the market, someone else is going to do it.
Of course.
So either we stay in it, but we create a serious initiative of how to shift the mindset of everybody that we work with, from our own team. And actually I say it has to start internally, you know, and there's the law of correspondence that says so within, so without. And so for whatever you can change, you can't change the outside unless first you change inside.
Of course.
And so I can't expect our team, our staff to follow certain protocol, for example, of being more conscious and more aware of our environment if I'm not taking that protocol myself, or I'm not conscious or taking initiative. And I can't expect our homeowners and our guests to follow this protocol if our team is not doing so. And so it really became a process of how can we create this awareness with ourselves, from taking care of our health, being more conscious of what we consume, of what we put back out there, you know, in terms of our waste management, just being more conscious of the energy that we use, and food that we purchase. Is it locally sourced? Are we buying smoked salmon and serving it to our guests, and think about the process of how it got here and what type of
it's super
chemicals we're
important to source
consuming?
locally. And we know that, especially here. And
Yes.
the costs are very prohibitive as well.
Yes.
And, well, it's another topic, but we know.
Yes. And so it really just started with that in that moment to say, okay, what is now my Lux's why? And it became no longer a villa rental company offering concierge services, again, no longer an experiential company offering villas, but it really became how can we shift consciousness in terms of creating an impact and creating awareness and leveraging what we do with villa rentals to touch as many lives as we can in order to reach and create that impact, to create that reach and to create that impact. And so that is kind of the medium and the vehicle. We're using MyLux as the vehicle to be able to create that change. And it's not easy, I'll tell you that much, because
I'm sure you get some pushback, to say the least, right?
yeah, because it's shifting a mindset. And again, that's why I would say it has to start from within. So we have, for example, our water bottles. We try to eliminate single use in our offices, single use at home.
Glass. No plastic here.
No plastic.
No plastic here. No water bottles.
No.
But that starts from the airport experience on.
Yes.
So we don't have them in the vans. We don't
No.
have them in the suburbans. So transportation.
Right.
So everything from the client's experience, where you have the ability to control these things.
Yes.
Okay. So we don't use plastic. We try to avoid using plastic at all, and we don't use single-use plastic ever.
So for our amenities, we use soaps and shampoos that are refillable, but also most importantly, they lack the chemicals. And so we use natural products. And every partner that we have, for example, with our water bottles, this is an American company, it's called Mer, and every bottle we purchase, they give back to cleaning water in third world countries. So every initiative that we take has a backstory. So with the shampoos and the amenities that we use, it's a local company that sources the products. So you could have like lime and ginger, and then they source the products locally. And then they also donate X amount of funds to go back into a local mine community for products.
That's fantastic.
We also typically will give like tote bags, so to prevent, use of plastic bags or needing plastic bags when you go grocery shopping. Well, again, there's so many, for every problem and adversity that we go through, there's always an opportunity. There's always a way for us to come together, and we have to come together as a community and solve these problems together.
Okay, time for a commercial. So if you're enjoying this as much as I am, and I hope that you are, I'm sure that you are, please make sure you're subscribing to my YouTube channel. Also follow me on Instagram. Follow Steph Maya Lux, Mayaluxe. That's her company, the best property management company. And obviously, as I mentioned, you're purchasing property from me. Steph's gonna manage it, make you lots of money, keep all of our clients happy. It's a good thing. It's a win-win-win. All right, so now tell us about the Riviera.
And I'd love to also talk about on that aspect as well, like the investment side.
Okay, let's talk about that then, and then we'll talk about the Riviera.
Yeah, sure. We'll kind of like mix it up a little.
Because this is a good time. Tell us your opinion about investing in this market now and what the potentials are for our potential buyers and renters.
So, of course, we're still on the climbing stage in terms of value, and we have not plateaued yet in terms of development and expansion of the area. So we're still very much in demand. How we partner really well together is because we have a client that's looking to invest in another home. Perfect example, this house, beautiful house, La Semilla, we've been renting it for almost 7 years. And we're pretty much at a 95% occupancy rate at this house.
So the standard, would you say, is between 70 and 80 for typical villas?
70, I always say the rental program is a recipe. And if we could master the perfect recipe, then we will have between an 80 to 95% occupancy rate.
Right.
Especially now, because of the pandemic, because Mexico was open during the pandemic. Also, the shift from people wanting to book a villa, a hotel, now wanting private space.
Yeah.
Residual travel, corporate retreats, offices have closed, and so corporate, they're sending out their key executives to have their meetings in certain properties. So really, we're seeing just an influx of many different segments of travel coming in, and nomads. So we have digital nomads that are coming here, also wanting to buy. But really, the most important piece for us is to perfect the rental program for our homeowners. And I call it the reverse engineer of the investment. So a homeowner, and Kelly, that's what we work really well together, because we'll match a property based on the request from your client, and say, your clients may say, hey, I strictly want it as an investment property. So we're not just looking and Kelly's not just a broker that's going to sell a property. It's really about how can we maximize the return for our mutual clients. And that comes with the rental side. So we'll look at a property and assess what could be the possible ROI. How will it perform in our rental portfolio? We don't just bring in any villa into our portfolio. So all our homeowners have to actually apply, and we have a committee that will go through and assess and say, yes, this is great. Or, maybe we just need these little tweaks. We need to invest X amount, and then through that minor investment, we could then put it on the market for X amount per night. So the value is really in the rental return, and based on that projection of that rental return, let's say it could be a 15% year-on-year return. Based on that return, you could actually flip the house and sell it at an even, higher.
It's a commercial property.
Yes.
I mean, we talk about this in the industry, and everyone knows, and every broker, every agent in the world knows this, right? If you just buy a house, you live in the house, it's your main property, then that's one thing. And then obviously when you sell it, then you have your capital gain, and you profit from that. That's one thing.
Yes.
That's when you profit from it. Other than the day-to-day experience, which is also a value to you. That's a different story.
Yes.
But when we're talking about being able to make And these houses, in some of these houses, $50, $60, $70, $80,000 a month. These are good properties. These are solid, as she mentioned. Let's talk about 10 to 15%. We're just talking about rental income on an annual basis.
Yes,
That's
rental
an
income.
amazing asset. And then, of course, as the asset appreciates in value, let's say between 8 and 12% on an annual basis, then we're talking about on the 20 to 25% return on your investment on an annual basis. That's really good, guys. I mean, I don't think there's anybody that would ever deny that a 20 to 25% return is not a good thing.
Enjoying it when you want, and also knowing how many lives you've also touched through the experience of your home. I like to say we're delivering stories and we're creating stories.
Like it.
And so even from the moment when a homeowner purchases a house, we interview the homeowner as well to understand what's their backstory. Where did you come from? How did you even end up here to want to buy a house? Tell us, even when they built the house, who designed it, or how did you, we have so many unique stories with our homeowners of how they just conceptualize the idea of having a home here, where they come from. They all come from different walks of life. And the reason why we value these stories is because we then translate that onto our guests. And so our own sales team, our villa specialists, can actually say, oh, by the way, and the owner, this house has this history, so that our guests are actually even then stepping into a story. And so we like to say where stories merge together.
Basically knowing your clients, knowing your clients on both sides of the formula.
Our
On all
homeowners,
sides. It's about knowing your clients.
yeah, and it's like I say, our homeowners are our most important client.
Right.
Because without our homes, without our portfolio, we don't have a business, right?
No.
And so we like to treat our homeowners like our own guests.
Well, and they obviously love what you're doing. How many properties are you representing now?
We have 130 in our portfolio.
Only 130. So that's just a testament to your success. I think that we have to wrap this up, even though I can sit and talk to Steph all day long and listen to her. She's just so charming, so enlightening, engaging, brilliant conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Literally my
No.
pleasure. And a big one.
And then we go into
This was too much fun. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Again, please subscribe, follow us. Both of us, you're going to find all of Steph's contact information for our company, Maya Looks, as well as Luxury Homes Tulum. We want to thank you guys. This has been amazing. And we're just going to say adios y gracias. Ciao, ciao. Bye-bye.